Hello, folks. Just a quick-ish video that I want to post addressing your annotated bibliographies and proposals. That's all I've been doing all morning. So I have read all of those that came in on time last night. I was looking at some of them as they came in yesterday, day before. Um, at any rate, I want to address a couple of key points as you move toward revising those annotated bibliographies. First of all, as a blanket sort of statement, remember this, and this may or may not apply to you. Some of them were fantastic, almost flawless already, but things that I will be looking for and things that you need to attend to as you are revising your own and responding to others in your group on the discussion board on Brightspace. All of your annotated bibliographies should be double spaced. All of your entries should have hanging indents, which means they begin at the left margin and then subsequent lines are indented. Your entries should be in alphabetical order. Make sure you're following MLA format. Okay, I made comments on a number of them. There are a lot of changes that have occurred in the last couple of years to MLA, APA, to all of them because people just need stuff to do, I guess. But there are some subtle changes regarding the URL and the access date, so I've included those as well. So that's for the citation piece. Then directly beneath it, the annotation, which includes that 150 word or fewer summary and then your couple of sentences indicating how you plan to use the source. The annotations were by and large pretty well put together. Remember that you must credential your author or authors or the publication or the source. So it could be as simple as saying researchers from Cornell University in the psychology department or whatever it might be, but do something to credential that so that you're giving the credibility essentially of the source. If you don't have authors and you're presenting a publication that's sponsored by an agency, so say you're looking at something published by the CDC, you can credential the CDC. If you're not able to do that, then you have to question whether or not your source is credible. Remember also, there are different layers of credibility. Maybe you're using a personal experience of someone. That's very credible. It's not that it has research or that it has anything, but you can establish his or her being the author, his or her credibility based on his or her experience. So someone is doing physician-assisted suicide and is looking at someone's experience, and I think that's a very valid source. Yes, it's personal. It's an entry that she wrote prior to her death. So that's a way of credentialing as it pertains to your particular subject matter. So it doesn't necessarily have to be only academic sources, but they have to be credible sources. So make sure that becomes part of your annotation. Also, always use present tense when you're writing about any piece of writing. I said it in your rhetorical analyses. The same is true for your annotations. You're actually talking about an article, an essay, a book, a resource that is. So it is. So you're going to use present tense as you write about that. So those are a couple of things to keep in mind. As for the proposals, most of these were pretty good. What I was looking for is some sense of direction. How are you going to frame this essay? What other research do you have to do? Why are you interested in doing it to begin with? Some of those questions. So hinging on that, I want to talk about the actual papers. First of all, of course, you're going to be revising your annotated bibliographies. You're going to be reading other people's. Hopefully, I'll double check, but hopefully there's a really strong example in each of the groups so you get a strong sense of what those should be. The papers themselves, okay, as you're writing this, keep in mind that you're writing this for a real audience. So you want to make sure that there's some sort of warrant or reason for your presentation of this material. In other words, I'm not just going to write a paper about patio umbrellas being dangerous if in fact nobody says they're dangerous and nobody's worried about them. You have to have a reason, and it has to be something contemporary, something that connects the reader right now to this issue. So you have to base your intro somehow, some way, in something that the reader or your audience can relate to or connect to or understand the significance of this issue. You don't need to tell the reader this is significant. You can begin by showcasing something that lets them connect in a more natural or organic way. And then you move into the background, the nature of the controversy. You have to do all of this in your paper. You don't want to jump in imagining that your reader has been doing the research you've been doing, and has the background that you will have by the time you begin writing. Instead, you want to set the stage, so to speak. Okay, so bring it to life a little bit. What is it that people are talking about? Why is this important to them? Give us a little bit of the historical context before jumping into establishing and making your own thesis statement and then building your argument based on that. So think about these things as you're growing this essay. Many of you already have a very good start on the essay. In your proposal, you worked your way through a lot of those key questions. Now it's going to be a matter of shaping it up, and think about some of the things that you were doing when you were looking at other people's articles. All right, meaning like for your rhetorical analysis, or when you read an argument or an article, you're going to watch the John Oliver Drones piece this week, and you're going to look at different ways that he presents his appeals. There are a lot of different ways to put your ideas out there. So you have to determine what's going to be most effective given your target audience, given your topic, given your own personality. Okay, so think about the rhetorical appeals and the strategies that you're going to use to most effectively represent the information you're sharing with a reader. So that's going to vary, because some people have that super, like, I don't want to say just eloquent, but a different style of writing than someone else who's far more direct and wants to use that to present his or her position. And someone else might be a little more tongue in cheek, a little more sarcastic, or biting with their presentation. Think about that. Think about the impact of that, the effect of that, and your ability to effectively manipulate the language and the text in such a way that it will still be effective for any reader. So those are the things that I want you toying with as you mentally begin to sculpt this essay. Now you have some time between now and then. You have to give your feedback to your group members by Wednesday. You already have mine. The final draft of that isn't due. Sorry, I think it's due Friday. And then you'll begin drafting on your capstone essay right away. In all honesty, if you've done a good job with your research, your proposal, your capstone draft is already taking shape. Okay, it will begin to form. I want you to work on it as soon as possible. I want you to start thinking about it. How are you going to engage your reader? How are you going to build your support? I'm not going to require you do an outline, but I'm going to strongly, strongly, strongly suggest it. Did you get that? 3 stronglys? That's a lot. It will just help you organize your ideas so that you're not repetitive, so that you make sure that you're logically aligning everything that needs to be in place to get your reader to where you are by the end of the essay. It will allow you to develop your introduction. Remember, these introductions, they might be 2, 3 paragraphs long. It takes a while to get into this. We don't walk up to somebody and just bam, smack them with our opinion or our position. We ingratiate ourselves. We build a little bit. We build that common ground. You work a little with some backgrounding. Don't expect your reader to be where you are when you begin. You want to get them there with you. So give some of that background as you move into the actual essay. A lot of people don't know these issues exist. So you're going to give us some sense of that, some context. It's partially, well, not partially, it's definitely one of the most important parts of your essay, and that's giving us that context from which you build your argument. So don't be afraid to spend some time as you open the essay, moving into that. You will also need to provide some support from your outside resources. There are some resources that I've shared with you on Brightspace that will help you with in-text citations. I'd like for you to use MLA. I'm not opposed to APA, but so if it's something that you're more comfortable with and you want that, you would prefer to use APA, please just let me know ahead of time. Regardless of which format of style you use, just use it throughout the essay, okay? You can't do partial MLA and partial APA. You have to do one or the other. I know the majority of your disciplines use APA, and I'm perfectly fine with that, but I just need you to be consistent in whatever you choose. So I think most people have been using MLA, so I've just been sticking with that. Okay, you have to give your essay an original title. Think about a headline, like on a newspaper. You don't want to read something that says, the controversy between blah, 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 or an analysis of blah, blah, blah. Give it something clever. Give it something reader friendly. You want to draw and engage your reader. You want to bring them in. You want them to want to read more. So keep thinking about those strategies that I know you've used in all of your writing classes up to this point. You know, this isn't your first writing class. You've been writing forever. You've been writing since you were in kindergarten. So just kind of draw on all of those strengths and all of those strategies to allow you to best present the information that you've provided. The other thing I want you to keep in mind is this. Yes, you're doing research and it's important for boosting your ethos, your credibility. But don't get lost in it, okay? That your goal is not just to provide a big smattering of what everyone else says. I want your voice to be present in this. I want it to be strong. I want you to have a position that you use outside sources to bolster, but the primary presentation is from you, and it needs to be a part of you. So work in that direction as you move through the essay. Hopefully this will help you. I will be looking at your blog entries today, tonight. I'm trying to get you your feedback as quickly as I possibly can so that you can continue working. We'll have another blog due on Sunday, and that one will be on one of the videos. Sometimes I just post some random videos, and I'll provide a link to that too. And it needs to be on any of the topics presented there, not just in response to the video. I mean, it can be. You can talk about it, you know, if it's a TED Talk, you can address, you know, something that you saw, summarize it. But the blog entries need to be autonomous. So look at the content. Maybe it's just something that sparks some interest for you. Okay, have a fantastic Monday and a great week, and I'll be weighing in again soon. Take care.